Okay, so it's 6:30. We are live. We're going to be talking about detoxification, natural healing in its highest form. And we're going to start calling this regenerative detoxification. In other words, we're going to detox the body so much that the cells will regenerate themselves back to health. And every single cell in the body can be regenerated. So that's the good news. The bad news is you're going to have to change your diet in a big way, because the standard American diet is absolutely the wrong diet for the human being. And this has been proved over and over again. And in case you haven't been here to this channel, we are frugivores. The human species is a frugivorish species. In other words, we're supposed to be eating fruit, predominantly fruit. Now, the primates in the wild will eat fruit when available. And so they always go to the fruit when they can find it. And that's most of the time. There are some seasonal things and various factors. But we got into trouble when we moved out of our natural climate zone, which is the tropics, and started migrating up into the colder, drier regions of the earth. So we had to adapt. But the body hasn't fully adapted to that, and maybe never will. Because we have one stomach. A true grass eater has 4 stomachs. Our digestive system is completely in line with a fruit-eating species, which we are. So there's a lot of evidence on this. So when you start putting in the chemistry that you're supposed to be taking in, that's when the magic happens. And you'll see this very quickly. And like I say, don't take my word for it. Just start eating a lot of fruit and watch what happens to you. Everything turns on. Your brain turns on. Your energy levels turn on. Your flexibility comes back. Just all kinds of great benefits happen. Now, in the beginning, you might go backwards a little bit because you're going to stir up the hornet's nest of stored toxins and acids in the body. So you may have what we like to call a healing crisis or two in the beginning. And you may get these from time to time as you go into the high fruit type of lifestyle. And this is so counterintuitive to the way that we've been taught. We've been born into this sort of system here. Some call it the matrix. So the matrix is telling us that that our best foods are from the corporations. They come in a box, they come in a can, they come in a frozen package, and that fruit and vegetable section on the edge of the store is that's the place you kind of got to go. And to a lot of people. A lot of people do enjoy their salads and all that, and their fruits, of course. But a lot of people force vegetables down they don't even like. I remember doing that, and as a kid, I hated peas with a passion, hated Brussels sprouts, hated broccoli, all that kind of stuff. It just didn't taste good. So, anyways, if you lay out foods in front of a baby, you lay out the vegetables and the peas and all that, and then the baby foods, and then the fruit. The baby will go to the fruit, and so we're naturally inclined to like fruit, and most of us love fruit. We just don't think it's the right thing to eat. We think, oh, well, that's just a sweet snack, or that's dessert, or that's something I'll slice up on top of my, my store-bought cereal to make it more healthy, so to speak. So fruit has been kind of pushed to the side as this sort of, okay, well, let's have a little piece of fruit just for a treat. No, fruit is the highest nutrition you can get, the most balanced nutrition you can get, and the highest cleanser, the highest detoxifier. It has the right balance of all the nutrition in it. It is so super nutritious. And I'm finding out about more of this each day. I mean, just how nutritious fruit is. I never realized that. I thought when I ate a peach, or an orange or whatever, that I'm just basically getting energy from it. I'm just going to get the sugar and have this great taste and all that. But oh, forget the nutrition. I got to go to the proteins, and I got to go to the veggies for that. And that if I go to the starches like the rices and the pastas and the breads, that's where I'm going to get my carbohydrates. No, fruit has all of that in the right proportions. A lot of people take these protein supplements that are really super high in protein. The balance of fruit, as I'm understanding, is around on average 6% protein in the form of amino acids, which are pre-digested proteins, if you will. In other words, when you eat a steak, you've got to break that steak down into amino acids, which is an extra burden on the body. In other words, it's taking and robbing energy from the food and you in order to break that steak down into amino acids. So, and it's the same with fats. You know, the fruits have fatty acids. If you take in direct fats, like a tablespoon of coconut oil, you've got to break that down into fatty acids too. So fruit is pre-digested nutrition that basically gives you an abundance of energy and doesn't take much. You know, it doesn't require insulin. The fructose, the fruit sugar, requires little, if any, insulin from the body to transfer that into the cells, that energy into the cells. So this is fantastic news. You know, start looking at the fruit as a source of high nutrition. It's the highest of the high, and it will change your life. You know, don't look at it reluctantly like, oh, this is something I'm just going to have as a treat, and I better watch it. You know, I keep on talking about this Harvard study because it sort of vindicates us. In other words, you know, the establishment side of health and nutrition has come out with a lot of mixed messages, you know, especially, you know, demonizing raw foodists and fruitarians and all that kind of stuff. So it's nice to see Harvard come out with a study that shows that fruit is actually very low in sugar as far as its effect on the body. So I think I might have a stream down here. I'm noticing something here. Guys, chime in if I have a stream down. I'm getting a blank screen. Hold on here. An error occurred. Please try again later. Uh-oh. All right. Let me know if your screen goes down. There's about a 15-second delay here. So I've got all things go here. Yeah, I'm looking good on my end. It just says an error occurred here in the black screen. Let me know, you guys, okay, and I'll check the feed. Okay, so anyways, as I was saying, you know, the Harvard Medical Study had said that, I'll give you an example. An apple, an orange, a pear, a peach, a plum has a glycemic load. That's how much that food will raise your blood sugar of 4. Okay, so that's just a reference, 4. So when you take a bowl of white rice, though, that has a glycemic load of 44. So in other words, that serving of rice, a bowl of rice, right, is 11 times more sugary, so to speak, to the body than that piece of fruit. So this is really interesting news. This sort of gives us a lot of liberation, you know, to eat our fruit and to enjoy watching the fruit. I'm sorry, watching the fruit. Enjoy eating the fruit. I'm going to type in something. You guys may not be seeing me here. Okay, so just look in the column if you guys can hear me. I don't see a picture here on my end. So anyways, hopefully we're good here. But please let me know, you guys. So anyways, that's sort of my dissertation on fruit. I'm going to go ahead along as if we're getting a good stream here. You know, so we want to, I don't really want to teach you guys anything. I want to unteach you a lot of things and sort of change the way that you look at the foods. So, oh good, we're seeing pictures. So I just got a problem here on my end. That's fine. Okay, so let's go to some questions that have come in, and we'll move forward here with our with our program here. I wanted to just mention a couple things. I saw this in the news. A Sausalito school in the Marin County District here in California is returning to session this August, and they're going to be the first school in the nation to serve their students 100% organic meals, sustainably sourced and free of genetically modified organisms. Okay, this is beautiful. This is great news. So a you know, government institution is now breaking the mold and you know, getting away from hopefully the food pyramid too, which pushes high dairy and high grains and meats. And but at least they're taking a step in the right direction, going organic. I'm pretty excited about this. This is wonderful. Okay, and I also wanted to mention a few things here. This is kind of fun. You know, we always talk about the lymph system. This is our main focus. You know, the lymph system is your sewer system. It's where all your 100 trillion cells dump their cellular waste. And it's where we focus our cleansing efforts, because this is when it backs up, it turns to acid and starts damaging cells all over the body. And it provides a sort of toxic background for funguses, parasites, bacteria, all kinds of things to propagate. All these things have been tied to all kinds of so-called diseases and cancers and all this kind of stuff. So we focus on the lymph system. And what's great about fruit is it cleanses that lymph system, and so do the herbs. The fruit is alkalizing. It's a lot of those citruses and those acid and subacid fruits actually pull toxins out of the lymphatic system. So they're so helpful in that way. But I did a little research. I put together a little list for you guys. So when the lymph pathways, you know, you're just nothing but tubes. Your tubes everywhere. A lot of them are so microscopic that they're hard to even see. And after this body drops, you pass away, those disappear too. So when they do an autopsy, they still can't find a lot of these lymph pathways because they just kind of disappear. They're down to the cellular level. So, but anyways, when these lymph passages, these tubes get obstructed, you know, with thick toxic lymph, you see when lymph becomes acidic, it starts drying out and it becomes more viscous, you know, just more like gravy, and it can even become so dehydrated and toxic that it just dries up. So this is called a cationic environment, okay? So versus an anionic one, which is a fluid, hydrated, wonderfully flowing system. And think of the lymph as a slow-moving river. So here's some names, all for the same thing. So I'm just going to run through these real quick. So the lymph can become dense, condensed, congealed, gluey, gummy, glutinous, jellied, sticky, viscous, hardened, stiff, bulletproof, impermeable, impervious, stubborn, unyielding, immovable, solidified, petrified, cemented, brittle, frozen, stuck, tight, unbending, unyielding, murky, gooey, and syrupy. So I think you get the picture. So we want that to all be a free-flowing river. So if we can get rid of all those names in the body, you are in Wellville, okay? And a little note here, when stagnation does happen, proteins will attach to cells, cell function drops, the cell will lose its electromagnetic energy or life force or chi force, and that cell will just wither and become weak and could die, okay? And then what happens is the body sees the weak cell and you get an immune response. So you get a mucus-forming response, an inflammatory response inside the lymphatic system, inside the cells. So it becomes a real mess, okay? And the idea of the lymph system is to take damaged cells and get them to the lymph nodes where the lymphocytes and natural killer cells and the macrophages can destroy them. So if that's not all working, your immunity goes way down, okay? So that's just a brief little idea of what happens when we take in acid-forming chemistry in our foods. We put acid-forming chemistry in our skin. We breathe it. You know that this happens. Now, pretty much everything you eat is acid-forming except for the raw fruits and vegetables. Okay, so just so you know that, so you know which direction to go. Don't fear the fruit. It's the highest nutrition you can put in your body. Okay, the highest healer too. Okay, so I just wanted to go through that little brief introduction to this, and a couple questions here, and then we'll go to some live questions here. I wanted to mention that last week we had Raw Intuition come on, and he had a note for Heather. Heather was worried about, you know, she wasn't sleeping well, and we talked about, you know, not looking at blue light at night from the television, from your computer screens, and from your cell phones and tablets. And because this tricks your pineal gland, which releases melatonin to help the sleep cycle. It still thinks it's daylight out, so you don't get the right rhythm, okay? So it throws off your circadian rhythm. So I actually got an app for my cell phone called Twilight. It's a free app. And what it does is it changes the color temperature. It makes it warmer. makes your screen color warmer, and it brings the screen level brightness down from whatever hours you program it. And I hit a little button to just say sun up, you know, twilight to twilight to daybreak in my time zone. So it automatically adjusts as I go. So it's a wonderful app called Twilight. And I don't have a tablet, but I'm gonna put it on my computer, and see if that. I don't really use the computer too much at night. So, yeah, the cell phone I do sometimes. So, so there you go. So Twilight is a good thing. Now, Raw Intuition also wanted to say he had some other great tips about electronic things and sleep. Okay, so he said it's also important to be aware of the electromagnetic frequencies, EMF levels in your bedroom. Okay, and this can keep us from getting a restful sleep. So his suggestions are really good. Turn off the Wi-Fi at night. So just unplug your hub at night, and don't have anything plugged into outlets, as this creates dirty electricity. So I guess it creates an EMF field around that electrical socket too. Pull your bed away from the wall as well, since the wiring in the walls emits electromagnetic frequencies as well. All right, so there you go. So those are some good tips if you're not sleeping well at night. And I've got blockout curtains too. My curtains don't let in any kind of light. It's kind of what you get at hotels, you know, because they don't know what hours you're sleeping. So I block out, you know, because I live by the beach, and we have these sort of orangish sodium vapor lights outside that I was having a hard time sleeping with those lights. So that's a good you know, a good little thing that Raw Intuition has shared with us. Okay, and then here's a question from Christian: what's the best way to move lymph in my head and my colon? All right, so this is a great question. You know, they're usually tied together, and we see a lot of connections between the transverse colon and the brain. So they really, you know, when the transverse colon is full of toxins, the brain gets full too, and then you know, when the brain is full of acidosis, stagnant lymph, it's hard to drain if the colon is toxic, you know, because the head sits on top of the GI tract, so to speak. It's the top, you know, the top of the tree, and then the trunk of the tree. So they both work hand in hand. So, and whenever you're detoxing the head, you want to detox the colon as well. And for the colon, the GI broom is fantastic. The GI broom has got all kinds of really powerful herbs in there to not only move the bowels and to move out the solid waste, but to also move out mucoid plaque. It's a film that lines our bowels. It's a toxic sludge. A lot of it's from eating processed flours and grains and sugars. So it forms just a nasty sludge that traps acids and toxins, and it blocks nutrition from getting into the bowel walls for absorption. So it's got great herbs like that in there to pull, astringents to pull, and also some things to stimulate some movement naturally that are non-habit forming. So that'll take care of your GI tract. And then for the head, Dr. Morse has some upper circulation herbs that are fantastic in moving lymph up there. You also want to combine that with some neurolymphatic massage. I have some videos on my website and on my YouTube channel. No, just on my website, I'm sorry. MarkJamesGordon.com to help you with that. There's also some things like hot and cold showers to stimulate lymph up in the head, and rebounding. There's more information at my website on how to do that, Christian. Okay? And then he also has another question on top of that. And for the lymph nodes, how do I fix those? Okay, so if you have clogged lymph nodes, castor oil packs are really good. You can rub castor oil and put a heating pad on there. That'll actually go down and get in those lymph nodes and soften the lymph. Dr. Morse has lymphatic formulas. He actually has specific lymph node formulas that work up in different levels depending on how toxic you are or how blocked up those are. But you always want to get kidney filtration. We talk about kidney filtration all the time here. It's the #1 thing we have to go for, because the kidneys are the doorway out for the toxic and acidic lymph fluids that need to come out of the body. If we don't have kidney filtration, they just keep recycling back in the body, and the body tries to kick them out through the skin, causing all kinds of problems with the skin, so-called skin cancers and acne, blemishes, just all kinds of problems there. and then the acids circulating through the lymph system will damage tissues all over the body, leading to pretty much everything that's wrong with us. So we want kidney filtration, open the door out. So that is your #1 goal for everyone, kidney filtration. Okay, and I have tons of videos and information on that on the YouTube channel and on my website. So kidney filtration numero uno. And getting on high fruit is a great way to get that going, okay? I'm just going to check and make sure the feed is doing good here. Yeah, it looks like we're doing good. We've got some people showing up here, so I'll get to you guys in just a minute. FE writes in, what is the natural process for hyperparathyroidism? So that is a hyperactive parathyroid. So we know that the parathyroid are little nodules on the thyroid, and they're responsible for calcium utilization, which the body needs calcium throughout it for the structure of the body, for the bones, for the teeth, for the hair, keep the skin nice, keep the keep the organs from getting sluggish and prolapsing, hemorrhoids and all that kind of stuff. Keep the bones from being too brittle. It also high calcium levels are tied to low calcium levels are tied to depression also. So whether it's a hyperparathyroid or a hypo, in other words, an overactive or an underactive, it's all the same. Detoxification is the answer. We're getting the mucus and obstructions out of the glands so they can regenerate. Okay, this is what we're doing. We're detoxifying so the body can regenerate. The body has a perfect blueprint of itself stored. Some say in the Akashic record, this astral record, I don't know, but it is a perfect blueprint that the body is always wanting to go back to, as long as we can remove the obstructions that we put in it, whether knowingly or unknowingly. So that is, in essence, if you want to get spiritual, our karma. We have carried our karma through, and now it's manifesting in our body, but we can reverse it. That's the good news. So detoxification, eating the proper foods, the proper chemistry, putting that in the body, and detoxifying, and now the body starts to regenerate itself. And it is amazing. It is truly, truly amazing. And I'm just in awe every single week as I keep going down this road and keep it clean. For the most part, I'm not perfect. I cheat, and I tell you guys about it, and I tell you about how I get hurt. I've been pretty good last week, so I got nothing really to report other than I ate a whole ton of watermelon yesterday, and it kind of kicked up a little bit of throat issues. Got a little bit of a sore throat, feel a little bit funky there, but I'm getting through it fine. You know, this is like what I call a mini healing crisis. And yeah, when we really, watermelons, don't let those things fool you. They look like they're just a bunch of water and maybe, you know, just a little bit of something in there, but they're super powerful at detoxification. So yeah, if you want to experience something, try eating a whole watermelon and and see what happens. It's actually really great. Okay, so one more here. We'll go to the live. So Clinton Kamara asks, I was wondering, would there be much of a difference between a raisin fast and a grape fast, especially if you hydrate the raisins with water in a smoothie, or so forth? Okay, so raisins are dehydrated grapes. We know that. Here's the thing. Raisins are inferior to grapes. Number one, they raise your glycemic level in the blood a lot more than just the regular grape. Okay, so that's one thing, which is good or bad. I mean, they're great if you're hiking and all that stuff. You need a lot of that fruit sugar, and you want all that energy there. But you know, you can actually overload too much fruit sugar. So just be careful with that. The water that's inside the grapes is what we call a structured water. It's a perfect water. Okay, this is the best water you can put in your body. Okay, it's the water we should be getting. And a lot of fruits are very high in water. But there's been studies on this. The water that's in the fruit actually gets into the cells much quicker and much easier than just taking regular water, even if it's structured water or in the proper alkaline balance and all that kind of stuff. So you don't want to take the water out and then put it back. That's what I'm saying. So stay with the grapes, okay? If you can't get the grapes, you're living in Bulgaria or something like that, I don't know. Maybe it's okay to, if that's what you can do, that's what you can do. Some people can't get a hold of fresh fruit. So yeah, maybe, yeah, that's worth looking into. So But yeah, grapes are your highest choice there. Okay, so now let's go to the live forum here, and let's start answering some questions over here. And thanks for all your patience, everybody. Okay, so Ronnie has a question. Hello, I have a question. Okay, so we'll get to you, Ronnie. Okay, so John Cornwall is turning 59 on Friday. Great, all right. Planning on a fast, is there any sense to a 1 day of water, then moving on to grapes and or green juice? Also, would you do a massage or lymph prior to the fast or after? Okay, so you know, it all depends on where you're at, what level of toxicity you're at, all that kind of stuff. What your objectives are. You know, I really don't. I'm not really an expert or really too involved in fasting per se, other than the mono fruit fast, other than saying, you know, going on a grape fast or, you know, lemonade fast or watermelon fast, things like that. And those are super powerful. We stay away from the green juices when we're detoxifying because they're really not as highly detoxifying as the fruits. Okay, we use the green juices as sort of a step down or a step into. In other words, we have levels, we have stair steps that we can take you on to get you to the highest of the high, which is, you know, in our land is the mono fruit, the mono grape fast. Okay, that's the highest healing, the highest energetics, everything. So, but not everybody can handle that. They've got to work up. So if you're super toxic, you may not even be able to handle steamed vegetables. So that would be your first stop. Okay, if you can handle steamed vegetables, that's no problem. Then you go to salads. Okay, you go to the raw veggies. So good. Okay, so if you're handling that fine, then you can move up to the green juices. Okay, so you're handling the green juices fine. Then you can go to the fruits. Okay, if you're handling the fruits fine, then you can go to the fruit juices. And if you handle those fine, you can go to the mono fruits. Okay, and like I say, the grapes, the lemons, wonderful. Watermelon, fantastic. Okay, so it all depends on it. I guess I'm saying there's a lot of things that it depends on. I would say that. And would you do a massage for lymph prior to the fast? It can't hurt. You know, you can try to kick in some kidney filtration. You know, test your urine. Test your urine first thing in the morning. See if you have cloudiness in that urine. That means you got your kidney filtration, and then you can embark on some heavier detox things. Also, you can do a 2-day dry fast just to try and get the kidneys filtering. Okay, so if you listen to some of our videos, we talk about that, doing a 1 or 2 day dry fast if you don't have kidney filtration. So yeah, there's a lot of factors there, John. I kind of covered the gamut there, okay? Okay, so you're from Connecticut. All right, good. How's the fruit up? I bet you got great berries this time of year coming up. Let us know. Ronnie, okay, here's Ronnie's question. I'm planning on purchasing your Javana tea. Should I still purchase Dr. Morse's kidney and lymphatic tonics? You know, that's a good question too. You know, the Javana is sort of an all-around detoxer and supporter of the body. It does a lot of things. You know, you can use it in conjunction with Dr. Morse's herbs if you're detoxing. You can use the Javana as sort of just a maintenance program. You can use it if you're just not wanting to kick in higher levels of detox, because when you start doing the targeted herbs, you know, you're going to move up. Especially with the lymphatic tonics with Dr. Morse. So yeah, let us know what stage you are, what your goals are. But it had, you know, the Javana has a lot of great things in it. It has things that do stimulate the lymph system. It focuses a lot on the kidneys. You know, it's got a lot of things to diuretics to flush the kidneys. It's got things to astringents to pull toxins out of the kidneys. It has prickly ash bark to actually increase circulation. It's got black walnut hulls, which are an anti-parasite and a cellular proliferator. They actually strengthen the cells, and it's a wonderful herb there. And it's also moves lymph. And it's got white oak bark, which is really astringent, super puller of toxins out of tissues and lymph fluids. So there's a lot of great things in there. But you know, of course, Dr. Moore's kidney herbs are targeted specifically at the kidneys, and the lymphatic herbs are very powerful to really stimulate that lymph there. So Javana is a nice tea, especially if you're on a budget. There's a lot of things you can do with it. You can make tinctures out of it. You can make super strong teas, you know, to a level that is really super powerful. You can actually take the raw herbs, take a tablespoon of that and throw it in your smoothies, and now that's going to target your GI tract, and it's going to get into organs that feed off of that, come off that GI tract, like the liver. So there's a lot of things you can do, and it comes with an instruction manual. You can make poultices out of it, all kinds of great things. So yeah, there's a lot of uses there. Hope that helps you. Okay. So we're seeing a picture. Okay, Dr. 3 a.m. Looper is on. Hey, all right. Okay, so I started replacing many of my meals with fruits. Yes, excellent. Uh-oh, but my teeth, turned all, I'm saying maybe all turned brown. Teeth turned brown. I started rinsing a lot and brushing a lot. I heard that is because the fruit or the mouth is mineral deficient. Teeth turn brown from fruit. Ay. Is this right after you eat the fruit? Is it, you know, how's your enamel? What kind of fruit were you eating? Yeah, I've never heard this before. Look, you know, the thing is, with fruit, you know, especially with lemons, you know, after you eat, rinse your mouth out because there's acids on there. If you already have an acidic mouth and you have weak enamel and all that kind of stuff, and you add that on, you know, the citrus fruit is acidic, but it's actually alkalizing to the body. But you want to rinse that off your teeth, and especially if you're eating fruit before going to bed. So make it a habit of brushing or rinsing. But it sounds to me, if this is a permanent thing, that you have an acidic mouth. So get some test strips and check your mouth pH, okay? All right, so if it's not in like the high 6s or 7s, early 7s, low 7s, you know, you got some trouble there. But like I say, don't blame the fruit. But let's get some more information on that, why your teeth turn brown. Don't know what color your teeth are in the beginning. Tell us more about this, okay? This is actually good feedback, but let's get to the bottom of this one, okay? But never heard that one before. This is a first, okay? Okay, Tony Morcos, I heard there are 22 amino acids, 9 external and 11 internally manufactured. When we eat only fruits, do we get the complete list of amino acids, 9 essential, as meat provides? You know, I've heard Dr. Morse talk about this, and he thinks that 9 essential thing is a bunch of baloney, okay? He says that in his experience of 47 years, people thrive on fruit, okay? And I can attest to that. I eat a lot of fruit, high fruit, and I'm athletic. You know, I'm not competitive anymore, but you know, I like to play at a high level. And man, I tell you, it's unbelievable. You guys probably saw my video from Mammoth. I mean, I was skiing up and down that mountain at high altitude and just feeling great, and tons of energy, tons of strength, and most of all, tons of flexibility. That's what's really wonderful. You know, I don't feel like I'm like fighting the skis. You know, skis are a very you know, it's a finesse sport. In other words, when you get your body movements right and your fluidity right, the skis do all the work. And when you have it right, you can actually float down the mountain. It's actually a beautiful thing. But it's all predicated on your ability to get the hips in the right position and the knees in the right position, so you get the right angulation on the edges of the ski. So when your body is acid free to a great degree, like I'm getting, it's just you get a fluidity in your body that's wonderful. But the strength too, you know, I'm not diminishing, even though, you know, I mean, you can see I don't look strong. My arms are thin and all that, but I am strong. So yeah, we thrive on it. And this 9 essential amino acid thing can be, you know, it's probably some kind of a mythos, really. You know, it just doesn't seem to be a problem for fruit eaters. You know, that I've experienced or that Dr. Morse talks about. And you know, I will say that Dr. Morse is the go-to guy. Every time I've drifted away from his teachings and his philosophies, I've always come back. So just keep that in mind, Tony. You know, fruit is so highly nutritious. I think that's what this program tonight is all about. Is don't fear the fruit. It is super, super nutritious. Let's start looking at fruit in a different way. Let's look at it as something that is extremely, extremely nutritious on every single level. And it's packed with everything, and it doesn't take energy from the body. It gives us energy. It's all giving. Okay? In addition, when we eat frozen fruits, are the enzymes dead, and will that affect the energy chemistry level of the detox? Frozen fruits are the next level down, you know, from a fresh organic, of course. And there's some debate on this, but frozen fruits, you know, if you can't get anything else, are not a bad choice. And from what I hear, it does not kill the enzymes. Okay, the enzymes remain intact, at least most of them, and that's my understanding on that. The life force remains in the fruit. Okay, and but frozen things after time do degenerate, even though we think that they're in a frozen state. No, even though if it's frozen, you want to eat it as freshly frozen as possible. Okay, so look, when you go to the store and you're going to buy some frozen stuff, hopefully it's organic. Look at the dates on the packages. Sometimes you'll find a better date on the package. Okay, so I've been doing really well on some frozen berries from Trader Joe's. They have some wonderful frozen blueberries, boreal blueberries that are not they're pesticide free and wild crafted. They're not organic per se, but they're pesticide free and wild crafted. So those are really good. And they do have pure organic raspberries there too. The berries are hard to get, you know, here in California. And a lot of times you'll buy a basket of raspberries or something for $5 for maybe 8 ounces. And a lot of them are mushy, you know. So yeah, I've looked into that. The frozen fruits are a very good choice. Okay. Tony, what are the effects of eating fruits pickled, unripened, but letting it ripen for a few? Oh, picked unripened. I'm sorry. Okay, these are all great questions. From my teachings, bananas are the only fruit that ripens after it's picked. The rest only ferment and rot. Okay, so the picking of the fruit is super important. And your skills in picking fruit at the market are going to be really important. And I should do more videos on this, how to detect and pick the ripest fruit and to avoid the unripe fruits because they're acidic. You know, they can actually damage you, and they can actually damage your teeth, like this guy is saying here too. So you want the ripe fruits. Okay, so yeah, so bananas are the only ones. I know the avocados they will only soften after they're picked. That's a different process, I understand. Okay, the softening of an avocado is fine. So in other words, you can pick a hard avocado or just, you know, semi-hard like that, and that's okay because it's going to go through its process of softening off of the tree. Okay, Kelly, hi Kelly, good to see you here. RA, sleep issues. Parasites are active at night. Parasites very active at night and can often be the cause of sleeplessness. Didn't know this. In which case, parasite killing herbs in our foods before bed can be helpful. Really great info. Thank you. I appreciate that. Wow. That's neat. Okay. So I just started last week. Is honey or stevia okay? Yeah, you know, those are both fine. I like, I get actually from Trader Joe's, you get a bottle, a little dropper bottle of stevia. It lasts for months and months and months for $5 or $6. And I put, you know, 8-10 drops in things that I want sweetened, in teas and things like that. So yeah, it's really, really, I like it. As far as honey, love it, love it. Just make sure it's raw. Raw honey's good, unless you're vegan, of course. You know. Neil Luco, my name is Luco. I've been dropping excessive weight and lots of fat and muscle. What can I do so I don't drop too much muscle? I'm assuming you're on high fruit and you're dropping all this. You know. Okay, so basically, again, we got to know more about you. You know, there's plenty of bodybuilders that are vegan bodybuilders. In fact, if you search on Google, there's a guy who's 75, and he's a black guy, and this guy is unbelievably fit. I mean, he is just ripped beyond all compare. And there's a picture of Schwarzenegger next to him, okay? And they say Schwarzenegger at 67, and this guy, I can't remember his name, at 75. And Schwarzenegger's all kind, you know, skin's all crinkly, and he's a high protein guy, you know, and a steroid guy, by the way. And so he's not aging too well. But this guy looks fabulous. So there's plenty of vegan bodybuilders. There are vegan raw vegetable superfood powders out there. Dr. Morse has one that can help you. More vegetables if you want to gain the muscle mass, you know, but the fruits and all that kind of stuff. A lot of times what happens, you go on fruit, right, and you might gain weight for a little bit, okay, because your adrenals are off, and there's various factors on that, okay. And but you'll quickly start losing weight, and you might go down to a point where you're starting to look really, really skinny, okay. And I got there, you know. I'm like 190 right now. I got down to the 160s, so I looked really terrible. Looked kind of emaciated. People were getting worried about me, but I knew that I was going to come back. So what happens is you drop down. The body does deep cleaning down in the muscles and the cells and the, you know, the fats and all that kind of. Gets rid of a lot of fat, by the way, stored fat, toxic fat. And then you come back up to your perfect weight. At least that's been my experience in the experiences I've heard about. So, yeah, be careful of thinking you've dropped muscle mass. You know, you can be dropping a lot of acids in the muscles, which causes it sort of an edema in the muscles, a lot of water weight in the muscles, things like that. You know, are you losing strength? You know, if you have any kind of strength training that you do, you know, are you losing strength? Or are you just losing, you know, the mass of the muscle that's toxicity or stored toxins or stored water or fats anyways? That's the big question. So yeah, so there's a lot of factors involved there. But yeah, either, you know, if you want to do your detoxification, then get on those vegetables and the powders, you know, Dr. Morse's powders, things like that. Ronnie DeFresh, thanks. I'm a 20-year-old that's into health. I do juicing, herbal teas, veggies, fruits, and organic meat. I've been doing this for a year now. I'll start off with Giovanna and work my way up. Yeah, drop the meat, and eventually you can drop the veggies to a certain degree. I don't see any nuts and seeds there, you know. But yeah, certainly the salads are wonderful. You know, keep it raw, and let us know how you do. Congratulations. Okay, Ronnie, is the Giovanna in tea bags or is it loose leaf tea? Okay, so what I've done with the Giovanna is I give you, it's the herbs, and I give you a tea bag. I give you a large cotton tea bag. And what you do is you take 2 tablespoons of Giovanna tea in there, and you throw it in a mason jar, 16-ounce mason jar or a container, and you put 16 ounces of hot water on there. Let it sit for 15 minutes at the minimum. You know, maybe shake it once in a while. You're making a nice decoction and of the tea. And you know, I like to leave it overnight myself. You know, just at night, you just pour the hot water over it and just let it sit all night, and then just reheat it in the morning. You got a nice strong tea there. So it comes with its own reusable tea bag. So you can make tons of great tea out of this, and it's really inexpensive. You know, per cup, it's like 50 cents or less a cup for really powerful herbs. And there's like 9 or 10 of them in there, so it's really, really neat. Okay, Kelly, teeth can turn brown from detoxing. I notice my teeth getting whiter after I do a liver and gallbladder flushes. That's one of the ways I know it's time to do a flush, because my teeth are looking dull. Interesting. Interesting. Teeth can turn brown from detoxing. Tell us more about that, because I haven't really heard about that. My teeth have been very white. You know, I guess I have white bones or something. I don't know, but I haven't experienced any of that. So I did have some cavity issues at first when I went high fruit, because I wasn't rinsing it off my mouth, and I believe that the fruit acids attacked weaknesses in the enamel or cavities that were starting to go. So in the beginning, it did. So stay on top of that, you guys. In the beginning, especially, you know, get any kind of slight thing taken care of right away. I've been taking psyllium fiber for years now. Is it okay, Dominic? Psyllium fiber is okay if it's combined with other herbs, because what happens with psyllium is that it bulks up. I mean, you take a little bit of psyllium and it's like a sponge and it just bulks up like crazy. So you want to take it in combination with other herbs. I really suggest a GI broom. I would not do psyllium anymore myself. I used to take it, but it can get caught in bowel pockets. It can cause all kinds of problems. It's very dehydrating too. So take it in a balanced package as with the GI broom, okay, which I believe has some psyllium fiber in it, okay. Kelly, notice the color of my teeth change. I don't know any official information about it. Okay, all right, so good. What do you brush teeth with? You know, I've been using baking soda. Sometimes I use just Trader Joe's has a fluoride-free toothpaste. It's a lot like the Tom's toothpaste. Same thing, but like $3 cheaper or something. It's the same thing. But baking soda is just fine. A lot of people combine baking soda and coconut oil. So neat. Okay. Watch your videos on the eyes and notice that both my eyes have lesions, upper, middle, and lower, in my lungs. What do you recommend? Okay, so the lesions could be a genetic thing going on there. I'd have to take a look at them. But in order to clear the lungs, you know, sometimes when we have these things, we may not even have symptoms showing up, and it's a good time to take care of it before the symptoms manifest. So recommend detoxification. Go on the high fruit, get on the herbs, get the kidneys filtering, move the lymph, bring up the glands, and clean the GI tract. So recommend that. If you want to take it a step further, Dr. Morse has a 3-lung tea. You can drink this and you can actually make an inhalant out of it and things like that, which will go in and it'll really start deep cleaning those lungs. Okay, so 3-lung tea. Detoxification, learn detoxification, Tony. And yeah, take care of these problems. Yeah, I'm glad you're learning to read eyes. This is wonderful. So yeah, you know what? I'm gonna post post a video of my eyes. They're really getting so much better. And I got a new iridology camera, so I have really great pictures. The previous pictures aren't so good, but you can see the changes, especially in the GI tract and those toxic tunnels, those radiosolaris that were coming up from my transverse colon into the head. Those are so much lighter, and so is all the toxicity in my bowels and stomach. So I'm going to post those. Kelly, coconut oil, indoor coconut oil, and baking soda, or a fluoride-free Tom's kind of place. You can rinse your mouth with hydrogen peroxide for whitening. Yes, I forgot to say that too. That's true. Thank you, Kelly. And Kelly is an expert on liver gallbladder, and I sent you somebody, Kelly, to help out. So yeah, I'm going to have actually a YouTube video with Kelly on the liver gallbladder. So wonderful. Thank you very much. So let's go back here to some questions that have come in, and then we'll go back to live here. I'm going to go bounce back and forth. Rebecca writes in, you talk about nerve rings in the eyes, and I see them in mine. What can I do? Okay, so nerve rings in the eyes, if you look at the eyes, you know, get a magnifying glass in a mirror. You can try that or whatever. Get a picture with your cell phone. If you see these kind of circular rings around the iris of the eyes, they're kind of about halfway to 3/4 of the way out from the pupil. They can be slighter, they can be deep rings, and these are called nerve rings. And it's a sign that you have weak adrenals and that your nervous system is compromised, it's going down. And this can be an indicator of all kinds of things. You know, Parkinson's, MS, neurological weaknesses are all tied to this. So you want to take care of this. Very much tied to the adrenal glands. You want to bring up those adrenal glands. You want to detoxify the entire body, and you want to work on the adrenals. You want to get kidney filtration, of course, clean the GI tract, all the things I talk about. But focus on those adrenal glands and those kidneys, and you will build up that autonomic nervous system, and you'll repair the myelin sheaths. It's sort of the insulator coating on the nerves, and when that goes down, you got all kinds of problems and all kinds of neurological problems. Which can manifest in so many ways. Okay, so take care of that. It's a precursor to things that are not good. Okay, and and they will go away. My before and afters, I've done a lot of good work on my nerve rings as well. Okay, so health reactor. Don't have blood sugar problems. I'm eating fruits. Good. And a healthy vegan with no fried stuff, no junk, no alcohol, no pasta, no sugar, no additives. Hey, that's no fun. No, just kidding. I'm also in a program with antifungal plus enzymes probiotic combination for 3 months. Now exercising, taking cleavers for moving lymph. Cleavers is a great lymphatic herb. Candida still fighting back. What am I doing wrong? All right, so you're trying to go after Candida. Candida is a fungus that lives a lot in the GI tract, and then it can branch out into the body. It's really hard to get rid of. It's usually combined with sulfur from antibiotics. So the sulfur thickens the lymph system, makes it really dry. The Candida these funguses and parasites love to live in these kind of toxic areas. So really hard to get going, guys. So you're doing a lot of things right. Okay, you're eating a lot of fruit. Okay. Healthy vegan. Vegan can mean a lot of things, okay? So what type of vegan? I know that you don't eat animal products, but that can mean other things too. So you're doing an antifungal. Okay, that's good. Are those antifungals targeted towards Candida? That's a thing. You're doing enzymes and probiotics in combination. Not a fan of those. I'd rather have the body do that naturally. But I do sometimes help people make a bridge into getting off of them. In other words, if somebody's having some real digestive issues, we might come in but titrate off. In other words, get them off them as quickly as possible. Exercising, taking cleavers. Okay, Candida's still fighting back. So are you getting kidney filtration? That's the big thing, because even if you're taking lymphatic herbs, you're moving lymph, but where are you moving the lymph to? You're moving it to a wall. You got a closed door at the kidney wall. So now you're hurting the kidneys with a lot of toxins and acids coming to the kidneys because you're moving lymph towards them. We want to move them towards the kidneys, but out. So are you getting filtration? Number one thing. If you're not getting filtration, you're not going to get rid of this stuff. It's just going to keep staying in the body. So that's the thing. Are you getting filtration? Health reactor, the biggest question. High fruit, you may, with Candida, you've got to clean the stomach and bowels too. I'm not seeing any kind of herbs on here to clean the stomach and bowels. So get on the GI broom, okay? Check your blood pressures. Make sure you have high adrenal function. Make sure that upper number on your blood pressures is in the 120 zone or higher, between 120 and 130, okay? So get kidney filtration. Let's see what happens. Let's go back to live and see what we got here. All right. All right. So Kelly, Mark Long, how did it take you to feel significantly better on all raw? That's a good question, Kelly. My journey started, of course, with the fibromyalgia, and then I went gluten-free. I got rid of the pastas and the dairy, and that was huge. And my transition into high raw and high fruit was more of a gradual one. I would say that when you finally get up to the level of high fruit, if you can do it quickly, you're going to feel terrible in the beginning. If you rush into this, you're going to feel bad. You're going to get headaches, body aches, soreness, sore throats, all that stuff. Emotional detoxes, all that kind of stuff. Most people will. But they'll quickly turn around. So it's different for everybody. I think, I remember you're pretty good on your diet. So start going super high fruit and watch. I mean, it's just amazing. It truly is. Even if you people just go fruit till noon, I mean, you're going to feel so good. So good. And yeah, so it happens fairly rapidly, Kelly. Okay? So thank you. You're welcome. Is organic chicken bone broth just a liquid acidic? Yeah, that's going to be acidic. It's gonna slow a detox down. Other detox books are recommending this for detox. What are your thoughts? No, not recommending it. Not in any way. Not in any way. Number one, it's cooked. Anytime you cook something, you're flipping the chemistry in it. Okay, so it's no longer a natural chemistry. Chickens are really not on our natural menu. We're really not carnivores. Okay, and it's just there's nothing detoxifying about it. I mean, there's all kinds of crazy ideas on what detoxifies the body. You know, I guess everybody's different too onto the level of detoxification they're going for. I guess if you're eating, you know, taking chicken broth, it's sure a lot better than having a porterhouse steak with beef gravy on it. So it's all levels, you know. Um, you know, you can see this, you know, with other detoxification programs that I've experienced. It will take you down to, you know, take you to certain levels, you know, but then you'll just stay there, okay? And now you've taken that detoxification program to its final level, okay? And this is true for even green juice detoxing, okay? That will take you to a certain level, a high level, but nothing compared to the fruit level, okay? This is the highest of the high, all right? And you will see this if you try it, okay? So yeah, it's all different levels, what you think is possible and what you can handle, okay? So for, mono fruit detox, the highest of the high. One could argue that the dry fasting is the highest. That's true, but that's not really a sustainable. It's like a temporary thing. You can do high fruit for I'm going to do it for life, you know. That's my plan. So, and a lot of people have. They've been high fruit for life, with, you know, with some salads and things like that. So, okay. Tony, by the way, I really like your videos. Very interesting. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. Happy, hey, what it is, hey, what are your thoughts on urine therapy? No, 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 no. That just sounds crazy to me, to drink your urine. It just seemed, you know, it just seems so unnatural. I would say in an emergency, I mean, if I'm Bear Grylls and I'm stuck on Mount Everest, I guess, you know, anything to survive. I mean, like I say, people boil their shoes. So people eat their friends, you know, when they're hungry. So yeah, I'm just not a fan. You don't need it. You don't need it. I mean, there's nothing good about that. You know, it just sounds crazy to me. And Dr. Morse reiterates that too. It's just nuts. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. Is olive oil okay? If you're gonna do olive oil, do the raw, of course. Do the cold pressed. Do the organic extra virgin. Oils are something that I would say is a treat. It's not detoxifying. They're kind of a treat. I mean, if you love your salads and you love a certain dressing, a little bit of olive oil is not going to kill you. You know, but it's not detoxifying. You know, it just consider it a luxury treat food, okay? And do it in small doses. And yeah, as long as you guys know where the levels are at, you know, knowing that taking that salad is going to slow down your fruit run. You know, let's say you've been doing fruit all day and you're just jamming, man. You're feeling good. You got tons of energy. You're just dialed in, and you want to pull it back a little bit. You know, you want to relax at night. You know, and you want to have a nice salad, and so you have a little olive oil dressing in there. Wonderful. But let's say you want to still keep real pure. You just squeeze some lemon on there, and that's your dressing, and that's really super. You know, still right there with the detoxifying and cleansing, even though the salad is taking it down a notch, which is something you may want. So there you go. So those are the levels. I drink almost 300 milliliters of water. This is Andy Frykowski. I drink almost 300 milliliters of water a day. I'm usually raw till 4. Good deal. Is it okay to have dark urine in the morning? Okay. What is 3,000 milliliters of water? I'm not up on my metric system here. Don't know about that. It sounds like you're drinking a lot of water. Dark urine is usually associated with not having a lot of water running through you, and also having proteins running through you. Are you eating a lot of raw veggies? You know, I look at the darker urines as a sign of protein, a lot of protein, or toxicity being you know, expelled from the body. So it's 3 liters of water. Okay, so here we go. 3 liters of water. So a liter is roughly like a quart, right? We'll call it a quart. So 3/4 of water. So 3/4 of a gallon of water. Is that about right? Okay, that's a lot of water. I don't personally don't drink a lot of water. I just kind of sip on it. In fact, I'm gonna have a sip right now. I got my Pellegrino here. This mineral water. But I just sip on it. I get a lot of my water through the fruits, you know, which is the best water to get. So yeah, sip if you're hungry, if you're thirsty. But Yeah. Sounds like you're taking a lot. I don't know. I don't know your level of toxicity, Andy. You know, or if you know, you can get a lot of proteins through the veggies. A lot of these green drinks are full of these kales and spinaches and all this kind of stuff. So you can have some dark urine even if you're doing raw veggies. So let us know, or if you're toxic, you know, you're pushing toxins out. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and take. Uh, okay, so Helen writes in, if people are having a hard time like me filtering their kidneys, and a lot of people are having a hard time getting kidney filtration, you're not alone. They have to go deeper. Yes, well said. I would fast a couple of days each week and eat only fruit and take herbs. Great advice, Helen. Eventually something will happen. Fantastic advice. Read books on fasting. I am, and it's encouraging me to aim for that, although I cannot personally go more than 3 days water fasting without some severe hot sweats and heart palpitations, so just be careful. Great advice, too. It's a long process, but think of how it will feel when you finally filter. It is magnificent, you guys. You will say hallelujah when you get those big unloads of lymph in your urine. You'll see them, man. It's like somebody took a handful of like white flour and threw it in your urine, and it all settles to the bottom. I mean, it's fantastic. It really is. And man, do you feel good. Whew, it's just amazing. I have the tiniest bit, which I sing and dance about. Yeah, man, any kind of fun, even little tiny speckles that looks like little salts in there, you know, circling around. Just, just thank God you got some filtration. When it really starts to come, I will be so happy. It'll show up, Helen. And I mean, God bless, and I'm wishing you heavy, heavy filtration. And you'll get it. You'll get the big unload. Thanks, Mark. I love your shows. Thanks, Helen. Yeah, good tips there, Helen. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Okay, Tony, I noticed that Dr. Morse and yourself mentioned that detox can help heal all kinds of issues. However, can it help improve vision? Yes, unbelievably. My eyes have gotten so much better. It's just unreal. I don't need glasses anymore. In fact, when I first started doing these, I was wearing reading glasses, and now I'm not. I noticed that from the early ones. Go look at my shows back in October, November. I was wearing reading glasses, so not anymore. I did some you know, some lymphatics in the eyes. I put some drops in some distilled water and did some lymphatic pulling. It really turned red for a while too, by the way. But I got a lot of that mucus out of the eyes, and just the general detox removes mucus from the eyes, and it really does improve it. It's just unbelievable. And the berries are really wonderful for the eyes too. I do a lot of berries, and I also have berry tinctures too. I have a tincture with saw palmetto berries, chaste tree berries, juniper berries, and I just, man, it's unreal. So yeah, detox will really help your eyesight. That's really one of the great benefits. Okay, so 3 liters is about 3/4 of a gallon. Yeah, 0.79. Okay, good. Miracle of Fasting by Paul Bragg. Only $7.05 on Amazon.com. That sounds wonderful. And then also on YouTube, Lauren Lockman, Tanglewood Wellness Center in Costa Rica, has got a lot of great inspiration. Very knowledgeable guy on the fast. He's fasted, I think, what do you say, like 1,000 or thousands of people over there, down there. So that's wonderful. So yeah, yeah. So this dry fasting for a couple days to get kidney filtration is definitely something. Also, the castor oil packs on the kidneys combined with the hot pad to help drive the oils down in to soften any kind of obstructions down there is really wonderful. With Javana Tea, I have some things in there, but I'm coming out very shortly, maybe even this week, with some, I call them boosts, okay? And one of my boosts is a kidney filtration boost that is going to have Chunka Piedra in it. Chunka Piedra means the rock crusher, okay? So it's going to be a stone crusher to really help these blocked kidneys remove some of these deposits, okay? And the liver, by the way, too. So it's going to have Chunka Piedra, as well as a lot of other herbs in there that can really, really remove some things. Uva ursi is another stone dissolver that's going to have in there. So this is going to be very powerful. And I want you guys to all give me your feedback on it. And what you're going to do with these boosts is you're just going to take it, you're going to mix it in with the Javana. So it's made in synergy with the herbs that are already in the Javana, but it's just going to boost certain areas. So if you want to boost the kidneys, you just get the kidney boost. it's going to be like $8 or $9. So you just throw that in there, and now you've got the Javana that's overall, plus it's targeting certain areas. And I'm going to have a lymphatic mover too, and an endocrine gland booster and all that. And you can even take these boosts and make tinctures out of it too. So this is going to be wonderful. You'll get a lot of herbs with that too, by the way. And a combination of herbs, not just one single herb. So that's just that's neat to know. So and I'll come out with more and more of these as we go. I'm just trying to keep it inexpensive for you guys to target certain areas and do these detoxes. Okay. And we want to eventually get to the point where we don't need the herbs that we're, you know, maybe just a little bit on a maintenance basis, but we're doing a lot of fruit, and fruit is doing the work for us after we've cleared the deep obstructions from the body and brought the glands back up and cleaned the GI tract. Okay. Okay, so Fruitarian Tia. Hi, Mark. As always, you are direct and to the point. I love that. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Although I do tend to talk a lot. Anyways, where we live in the climate is so dry during our season. I think you're down in Mexico. Humidity can get all the way down to 4%. It's 10 p.m. Humidity is 24%. When it gets warm and shoes come off or sandals, my poor feet crack and bleed. My hands also split and bleed. This is without doing detox. Okay, so this is acidosis. Acidosis burn, they dehydrate, they dry. And especially in our extremities, you know, I've got some issues down in my feet too that I'm always working on. But I'm just not getting my feet up above the heart enough. You know, if you have these issues, if you want to move lymph in the feet and legs, you want to get some inversion going. It can be simple as just getting a book and sitting, you know, I could be on the couch here on the side and just kicking my feet up so they get above the heart, or against a wall even, or against the bed, you know, even against the bedboard. Just get the feet and legs up above the heart, above the kidneys, and it will flow back. And then skin brush back, rub some castor oil, and just kind of, you know, just move it back towards that, and that will help move lymph in there. And you want to, of course, get the kidneys filtered and move lymph. Okay, then I'll take care of that. That's acidosis. Okay, so that can lead to just joint damage. You know, I mean, a lot of people are on walkers because of this. You know, the acids just have taken away their ankles and their knees and their hips. So you want to get rid of that, okay? This is an early sign that you got some trouble down there, okay? And you want to take care of it. I had my urine tested by an integrative doctor who said I was overhydrated. Overhydrated, okay? Because that can mean a lot of things, okay? But see, we're interested in lymphatic hydration, okay? So you're underhydrated in your lymph. That's why you have acidosis, okay? So is this a factor for the skin ring, the humidity? Not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge, okay? None of this sounds like anything related. Skin rings, well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Yes, it is. Of course it is. The skin ring shows up in the eye as darkness around the eyes. That shows that your skin is blocked. Okay, it's probably been hit with so much acid that it's become inflamed, and that inflammation is mucus, and now that mucus is stagnated and hardened and it's not letting things through. Is the humidity. Okay, so you have dry humidity. So if you had wet humidity, you might be sweating more. It's interesting. It's an interesting idea. Okay, I think it's more related to the heat and the function of your thyroid because, okay, if the thyroid's working properly, you're going to sweat, okay? If it's hot, you're going to sweat if the thyroid's working properly. So it's really about the heat that's going to help, open up that skin and let the toxins out. Not sure about the humidity. That's a great question. I know that I feel hotter when it's humid, and I, of course, sweat more. But I was always not sure if that was just the humidity in the air combining with the heat of my body. So that's worth some research. It really is. But if you have a skin ring, you want to get that skin, filtering. You can skin brush, but most of all, open the kidneys up, get the lymph moving, and get it out of you. Okay, but skin brushing definitely helps. And with the feet, of course, and the legs, do the inversions. I use grapeseed oil, uh, or it's even more miserable with chalky skin. Since detoxing in January, I have done a sauna, and I've driven around in my car with the window rolled up and a heater on to try and sweat. I'm also doing skin brushing. Okay, so you're trying to sweat. Check your basal temperatures in the morning. You know, that's taking a thermometer, a basal temperature thermometer meant for the underarms. Check that in the morning. Make sure you're in the high 97s, low 98s to make sure the thyroid is helping you. If the thyroid's down, you can't sweat. So, but you're doing the right idea. You're trying to get some sweating going. Applying oils is just temporary relief. It can actually block some of the things trying to come out. So, yeah, we don't want to treat. We want to get in there. We want to pull toxicity. You want to stimulate lymph movement and get that skin moving there. Okay. So kidney filtration, get the thyroid up, get the basal temperature up, and sweat. Okay, saunas are definitely going to help you in the meantime for sure. And driving around the car with the windows up, it's going to help you too. Not sure what your temperature is down there though. Okay, all right. Let's see if there's any more live over here. We're going to bounce back here. Okay. Okay. So. Brian Thornton, excellent. Kelly, boost equals great idea. Thank you. As you probably know, Chunkapater is also really good for breaking down gallstones. Yes. And clearing the colon, cleaning the colon. Wonderful. I didn't know that about the colon. Excellent. Yeah, I'm really excited about the Chunkapiedra. Can you recommend a great book on understanding herbs and its true healing powers? You know, the go-to book for me is Dr. Morse's Detox Miracle Source book, because you know what he does is he shows you the herbs that really benefit kidney filtration, lymphatic movement, detoxification, and regeneration. That's what we're all about here. Okay, so yeah, get a copy of that, Tony. It is the go-to book in so many ways. It's the Bible, really, truly. Everything's there. Everything's there in its purest form. Okay, it's really that simple. And you know, his chapters on herbs and all that, really super simple, really super informative. And he even tells you combinations of herbs for specific things. So really wonderful. Okay, so Andy again. Hi. I bet it's a vegan protein shake I have daily as I do weight training. Okay. All right. So I forget your question, Andy. Hold on, I'm going to go back. I apologize. Yeah, the dark urine. Yeah. So yeah, you're doing high protein. That's just the protein in there. Be very careful with the protein. Okay. That can really hurt kidney filtration. Can really hurt the kidneys. By the way, proteins are acidic. I don't care if they're in the vegan form or not. All right. So it's a vegan protein shake. Yes, some of these things are so high in protein, it's unbelievable. And the amount of weight lifters and athletes that have rheumatoid arthritis and that are, you know, using canes and limping way younger than me is just astronomical. So be super careful, okay? And it can just, man, it can just take you down, okay? Just want to give you that warning. Okay, research the you know, the vegan weightlifters and all that. If I don't know if you're into that. Well, you do weight training, but you know, I don't know if you're doing it for strength or you're just doing light weights for appearance or whatever. But yeah, just be super careful. Okay, so Brian, thanks for your input, Kelly. Good to know. Yeah, definitely. Kelly is a wealth of information. We're always glad when she shows up here. Wonderful. Okay, so all right. So now we move on to Moonlight Leonard. Hello. How do you keep your energy up if you don't have a protein? I crash. Nuts are not a good alternative because I usually have to eat a lot in order to feel satiated. Okay, so here's the idea with protein is that I have no problem with energy, as you can tell, and I'm going to be 60 here in a couple of months. So, man, it's not waning. Okay, thank God. So, but what happens if you're a meat eater is that cow or that chicken knows that it's going to die. They're not stupid, and they can smell it. They can hear the animals. I mean, heck, they have I was driving up to Mammoth, and this rancher had a bunch of cow hides up on his fence, and the cows are right in the field, right, you know, with the fence right there. That'd be like us, like stringing our buddies up, you know, yeah, while we're out in the play yard. I mean, it's just crazy. they know what's going on, and they're smart animals. That's why I don't eat them. They're loving sentient beings. That's why I just don't eat them. But anyways, they know they're dying, so their adrenals start firing. They are in fight or flight. Okay, they smell the blood, so they're pumping adrenaline, man. And that's what you're getting. You're thriving on those neurochemicals, that epinephrine. Okay, so when you stop eating meat, you crash because you've been addicted to their adrenal, neurochemicals. So this is the problem. But you'll come around, okay? So you're gonna thrive. You're gonna have so much energy and fruit you will not know what to do with it once you adjust, okay? And nuts are not going to give you energy. I don't know who thought of this. I will say that there are certain foods that will help you have more of a sustainable energy. One of the things with fruit, especially with grapes, is you can eat a bunch of them and just get really jacked and pumped up like that, but then you'll come down, unless you're just eating a handful every once in a while. Bananas are really good for stabilizing blood sugars. Really fantastic. There's a lot of fiber in there, which kind of gives you a slow release of the sugars in there. So, find your own balance, but there's ways to do it without having these big spikes. Okay, but you do not need protein in that regard. Okay, and like I say, what you need is amino acids, which are in the right balance in the fruits. Okay, all right. And by the way, blood sugars is an adrenal issue. What happens is when the adrenals are working properly, they metabolize the fructose, the fruit sugars, in a proper way. Okay, so but once those adrenals balance out, you get the proper metabolism of the sugars. Okay, Donna asks, what's your opinion on quinoa and lentils? Can they be helpful or are they not good? Okay, so for the most part, cooked grains are acid forming and they're mucus forming, okay? And Arnold Ehret has the mucusless-free diet system. He's been talking about this, for many, many decades. So this is not new. So those are going to be mucus forming. The quinoa is actually one of the better grains. It's not as acidic as the others. Lentils are acidic and they're hard. Really, all the beans are hard to digest. I avoid them. I really do. I always had trouble, even when I wasn't really aware of it, but I've always had trouble with the beans. So I would avoid them. You don't really need them. I know a lot of people like them. They think they need the protein. You really don't. And get your amino acids from the fruits and the tender leafy greens, the tender leafy baby greens and the sprouts, and you're gonna be thriving. Okay. Yeah. So a little bit of stuff like that, just for a treat. It's not gonna hurt you. But just know what's detoxifying, what's acid forming, and what isn't, and you're gonna be great. That way, when you have your inevitable cheats and your treats, really, just to keep life interesting and taste these little flavors, you'll know what you can get away with and all that kind of stuff, and have some fun. Have that little piece of cheese, man, just to get that taste. As long as you're off of a heavy detox, and if you're going to have that small slice of pizza on your cheat, just make sure it's the best darn pizza you could possibly get your hands on, and know it's going to take you down a little bit. You'll come through it though, as long as you don't eat too much. I always tell people if I had a Big Mac, fries, and Coke, I would probably seize up and die. It would at least take me weeks to get that out of my system. I mean, that's how clean you get. You cannot tolerate bad food anymore. You really can't. Okay, let's see if anything's live here. Okay. So Andy says, thank you. You're welcome. How about pea, rice, hemp protein using in moderation? Okay. So this is Miriam. Miriam wants to know about proteins in the form of hemp, rice, and pea using in moderation. Well, the idea here is that you really don't need them. It's something that I think it's been pushed on us that we need protein. I mean, everything's protein for health. They always talk about that. So it's been my experience, Dr. Morse's experience, and a lot of people's experience that you really don't need protein. You don't need to supplement. If you're a weightlifter, okay, you're going to sacrifice detoxification, parts of detoxification for muscle building. But you know, 99.999% of us don't really need to supplement protein. That, at least that's my viewpoint at this point. Um, you know, I feel like I say, I feel strong and I feel good about it. And you know, if I really started lifting weights, you know, even light weights, I think my body would really you know, show more muscles very quickly. You know, so yeah, I just don't think you need it. Um, you know, yeah, you know, hemp is a grain, rice is a grain, and peas are probably your best choice there, but it's probably going to be an isolated protein and all that kind of stuff. You just don't need it, okay, Miriam? In smoothies, yeah, you don't need it, and you would not never want to combine protein with a fruit smoothie, by the way. Okay, even if you were deciding to do that. You don't want to mix those things. You want to keep it real simple because proteins use a different enzyme than your carbohydrates. Okay, so just so you know that. But I would, you know, a lot of people I found out after talking to me or listening to this stuff, they go in and they just raid their cabinets and throw out all those powders that they spend a lot of money on. They just get rid of them. They realize how terrible they are. Those whey proteins, all that dairy, all those isolated chemicals that you can't even pronounce. They're just guys in lab coats thinking they're so darn smart, you know, that they're smarter than Mother Nature. You know, they're so wrong. They're so wrong. And unfortunately, they may never know it. They may just go. I just call it the you know, the grinder. They might walk into the grinder of the allopathic community with their toxic pharmaceuticals and their cut, burn, and poison methods and just walk right into that fire and not even know it and think that's just the way it is. You know, I got to seize up in my 50s, 40s, and 50s. I've got to have major things happen in my 60s and 70s, and I got to die a painful death, you know, and just have body parts chopped off and that's just not normal, guys. That's not the way it's supposed to be. That's not how you were designed. You were designed in a very loving way to live a beautiful life and to go into your older years and gain wisdom and share that wisdom into you know, pass silently in your sleep at a ripe old age. I truly believe that. This degeneration is not what we're supposed to go through. Okay, we're not designed that way. We're designed to be toxin free for the most part, and we're designed to be acid free, and we're designed to have a constant regeneration of tissues, okay, through the body. And anything short of that is what I call dis-ease, okay? It's not what it's supposed to be. It's unnatural. Okay? What do you think about blackstrap molasses for gray hair? I don't know anything about that. Gray hair can be reversed through detoxification. I noticed that I don't know if my graying is reversed. It just gets real slow, you know. It's just a real slow graying process for me. Um, it has a lot to do with acidity in the scalp, you know. I could do more work in that area myself. I could do more hot and cold, you know, showers where you start hot and go for a while and go for a minute or so and then turn it down to super cold, getting a lot of and just move more lymph in the head. You know, I would probably reverse what graying I have. I would probably reverse any kind of slow hair loss that I have. But my hair's staying pretty good. I have very fine, and I was born with fine, thin hair. I really thought I'd be bald by the time I was 20 or 30, but it didn't happen, thank God. Um, and but yeah, I could do more work in that department. So you can really concentrate on that area and actually regrow hair, as Dr. Morse says, and actually reverse graying. And there's an herb, a Chinese herb called Hisho Wu, or Fo Tea, which will reverse the graying process. Okay. Miriam, many thanks, you bet. Mike Van Loon, I live in England and most fruit is imported unripe. Should I eat it? No. Try to get the ripest fruit you can. Certainly the bananas you can go to, the avocados you can go to. But yeah, just yeah, make sure you eat only ripe fruit. Go to the frozen organic preferably is your next highest choice. Okay, and yeah, just do the best you can. I'm sure you can find some ripe fruit if you really try. Do the best you can there, okay? And learn about how to pick out the ripest fruit you can. Okay, yeah, I know England has to import a lot of things from Spain and from Africa and things like that. So do the best you can there. Kelly's signing off. Goodbye, Kelly. I think I should sign off to you guys. It's been about an hour and 25 minutes here. I still have tons of questions on the weekly side. I've gotten through your live questions here. So thank you, everybody, so much for showing up. Yeah, just I think the takeaway from tonight's session is really let's look at fruit as not a treat, as not a dessert or a breakfast item. Let's look at it as something highly nutritious that we can base our nutritional intake around, and knowing that it has the complete balance of everything that we need in the right order, in the right quantities, and eat ripe, fresh fruit as much as you can. And get your questions ready for next week, and we will see you in a week. I want to remind you guys that the first week of every month, Steve Factor is going to join us. And so bring your questions, and he's going to bring a recipe each time. He has fantastic recipes to keep all this interesting. He's throwing dinner parties, raw dinner parties for people on the swanky side of town here in LA. So he's an expert in this, and he's really quite a great personality. Knows a lot about detoxification and raw foods. And so hopefully we can get some recipes out of him. And so, yeah, we look forward to Steve the first Monday of every month. He'll be here on June the 6th, so mark it in your calendars, and we'll see you next week. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.